Hello everybody, this is Johnny on Sugar, because I like some sugar in my tea. And GTA series is one of the most recognizable franchises of all time. After all, who wouldn't like to feel like a free human, just rampaging and doing everything you want? Not me, seriously. I like to play as peacefully as possible. Yeah, you can also just do regular missions and 100% completion, like creators intended. That can also be fun. But if there's one GTA that's overlooked... No. Completely not talked about, that'll be GTA Advance. So, what's the big whoop? Well, GTA Advance is a very special game, as you can tell. After all, it was specifically made for Game Boy Advance. You've heard it right, GTA on Nintendo, a violent video game series on a family-friendly console system. This is not the first nor the last time it occurs. In late 2000, GTA 2 was ported into Game Boy Color, and then in March of 2009, GTA Chinatown Wars was released on Nintendo DS. Also, fun fact, it was released the same day as GTA San Andreas. But unlike this one, GTA Advance wasn't developed by Rockstar North, instead by Digital Eclipse, which is a company that develops console games. But it's still on a Nintendo console, so some mature content had to be cut out, like swearing, and that's it. We still have blood, killing, stealing cars, running everything over. On the basic level, it's still GTA as we know it. Actually, the original idea was to remake GTA 3, but the technical limitations forced developers to create something entirely new. So it ended up becoming a prequel to GTA 3 instead, on a small Game Boy console. It is no surprise that this game had to have some severe adjustments and changes in order to fit into 16KB cartridge. Obviously, the first and the major change is the top-down view, known from original GTA and GTA 2. This allowed the developers to only use sprites for everything that moves, instead of 3D models. But if you look closely, all the buildings are actually 3D renders. So kudos to that. The interactions between sprites are on a good level, however, all vehicles use the GTA sprite rotation system, which, with low resolution like this, it pretty much always results in creating a mess of pixels. However, it's worth mentioning that the vehicles have additional sprites when they tilt. That's a really nice touch. They really put effort into this. As I mentioned before, they originally wanted to make a portable version of GTA 3, and you can clearly see that. First and foremost, the action takes place in the original Liberty City, at least that's what this pixelated mess resembles. So the street layout is mostly the same, but everything just feels like a copy and paste. Famous buildings and landmarks were replaced with just generic houses to fill the space. And Portland Island, which was supposed to be the smallest one, is now bulky as hell. Not to mention all hills were removed as well, leaving the city completely flat. Nonetheless, it still feels like a forever to go from one place to another, mostly because how bad the driving is in this game. Which leads to the next point, the controls. In other GTAs, we usually have tons of options to choose from, whether we use a keyboard with a mouse or a controller. Now we are limited to only 9 buttons, excluding the start button. But trust me, that's perfectly enough for this game. We use the D-pad to move in 8 directions in total. The movement is very smooth and I don't have any complaints for it. We use A and B for sprinting and firing weapons, and combination of them allows us to jump. It only has 2 buttons. What did you expect? Select is for changing the weapons, and upper left button to enter the car. And that's all you need in a GTA game. You can't aim, unfortunately, which can make shooting a bit tricky unless you align yourself perfectly against the target. That will be a good addition to the unused R button. Driving a vehicle requires some practice, otherwise you will be bumping into everything, slowing you down drastically. There are 28 available vehicles in this game and nearly all of them are coming back from GTA 3. The overall HUD display is ripped straight from GTA 3, the weapon design, the health, ammo, amount of money. The minimap is in the upper left corner, something that the mobile versions of GTA will use in the future. There's also a clock that is completely useless, which turns to the speedometer after you enter a vehicle. For some reason. Yeah, the speedometer is more entertaining than the clock. And while this game doesn't have any radio stations, every car has a song played in a loop. Most of them come from GTA 2. That's a bop. There are 8 songs in total, some of them are cool and some of them get really annoying after a few loops. Right, how long will you play this game? And what is it about? GTA Advance consists of 40 missions in total, and let me tell you, many of them are really similar to ones from GTA 3. Our main hero Mike is a criminal who gets betrayed by his crime partner Vinny. At the beginning of the game they try to leave the city, but suddenly Vinny gets killed in a car explosion. So Mike teams up with various characters, many of them returning from GTA 3, to solve the mystery of Vinny's death. But surprise of all surprises, it was all staged and Vinny wanted all money for himself. Mike then gets rid of him and other enemies he made along the way, and then at the very end he steals a plane and escapes the city for good. The plot is solid and definitely a lot of fun to play, and the ending is hardcore. 40 missions is a respectable number, they aren't too crazy and it shouldn't take you long to beat the entire game. The weapons are coming back from GTA 3 as well. Everything is basically the same, just replace the M16 with a minigun and add katana to the mix. The best weapon is hands down the shotgun. It one-shots every NPC and two-shots every car. Whenever you have an access to it, get the entire stock. Also, I have an honorary mention to the baseball bat, which in melee fights can be OP as hell. GTA Advance also has some additional content. Rampages, side missions like Vigilante or Taxi, street racing, hidden packages to collect, if you care. And last, but definitely not least, is the performance. Well, it's on the GBA, what did you expect? This game works okay at best, but slows down drastically when there's a lot going on the screen. So in conclusion, I think you should definitely give it a try. It's a nice little GTA that's massively underrated, and it deserves a chance. Even if it has some flaws, but hey, which GTA doesn't? So that's all from me for today, and see you later.